All right, so we're going to take a look at the question pool for the technician license level. And I've got the first 10 problems listed up here on my worksheet. I don't know if we'll get quite that far because I'm going to try and keep these videos around 10 minutes. Okay, so the big focus really is understanding the powers of 10 and the prefixes of mega and milli and pico and giga and so forth. All right, so let's look at the first question here. How many milliamperes is 1.5 amperes? Okay, so a milliamp is 1/1000th. So that means then that 1 amp is equal to 1000 milliamps. So we have 1.5 that amount. So we come down here and it's going to be 1500 milliamps is the same as 1.5 amps. So we're going to choose answer C. All right. Which is equal to 1,500,000 hertz? Well, this is kilohertz, and we get into megahertz. So 1500 kilohertz, not megahertz, because this is really 1.5 megahertz, but they don't give that as an answer. So the closest to that then is 1500 kilohertz. Okay, which is equal to 1 kilovolt? How much is a kilovolt? That's 1000 volts. So let's look for that, and that's one of the answers, and that indeed is C. Okay, and problem 4, what's equal to 1 microvolt? Okay, so micro is times 10 to the negative 6. Micro is a million, or a millionth. So that's going to be equal to 1 millionth of a volt. So we're going to choose A. Which is equal to 500 milliwatts. And all of our answers are in watts. Milli is 1,000th. If I had 1,000 milliwatts, that would be equal to 1 watt. So we're looking for something that's half that amount, and that's B, 0.5 watts. Which is equal to 3,000 milliamps. 1,000 milliamps is an amp. 3,000 is going to be 3 amps. Which is equal to 3.5 megahertz. And all of our answers are in kilohertz, which is below megahertz. So if I move the decimal point over here, we get 35.25 megahertz. No, it's going to be smaller than that by another order of magnitude. So yeah, C, it's going to be 3,525 times 1,000. That gets us into millions. So C is our answer here. You need to get really comfortable in converting between megahertz and kilohertz and where the decimal point goes. That's the secret to doing these. There's not much complicated in terms of calculations. Okay. Which is equal to 1 million picofarads? Picofarads is times 10 to the negative 12th. Yeah. Because nanofarads is to the 9th. Anyway, the answer to this is, no, this is 9th. I've forgotten. I guess I should have reviewed these before starting this video. Anyway, the answer is be 1 microfarad. And that makes sense. Okay. Which decimal value most closely represents a power increase from 5 watts to 10 watts? And they do not, in the technical level manual, give you the logarithm equation for doing that. But once you get the hang of what they're doing here, they have doubled the power. And when you're doubling the power, that's a 3 dB gain. So you just have to remember that it's 3 dB. And if you were to calculate this using the formula that you'll get in the general license level, you would see indeed that it's 3. Okay. The next one and the last one we'll do in this first video is what decimal value most closely represents a power decrease from 12 watts to 3 watts. Okay. Well, if we cut it in half, if it went from 12 watts to 6 watts, it would be minus 3 dB. The minus means that we have a loss or decrease rather than an increase. But this is down to 3. But if we go down 12 by half, we get to 6 watts. If we go down half again, we get to 3 watts. So what's 2 times a negative 3 dB, negative 6 dB? Okay, great. So review these if you need to in the text. It gives a pretty good explanation. Okay. Next video we'll tackle another 10. There's a grand total of 30 of these math questions or math related questions in the test pool. And we'll cover all 30, 10 at a time. All right, see you in the next video.